So we have some visitors tonight, and some of you heard me talking a little bit about this. But if you look around outside, what you're going to see is a bunch of Habilitat graduates. Except what makes this so special is they're Habilitat graduates from the 1970s. And tonight, we have a very special guest. Sitting here beside me is Pat Cognetta, a.k.a. Pasqaule Cognetta, who went through the program in the 70s, worked for Habilitat for many years, and I was lucky enough to have worked under him when he was running basically he had Becky's job. He ran the sales department over there, and he was definitely an influence in my life and many other people's lives. And he's had a very successful life after Habilitat, just like very many of the people that you see here this evening that came to support. And tonight he's going to talk to you, and he has some pretty important messages. So you should open your ears, pay very close attention, and listen to what he has to say. Ura? Yeah?
That's a big thing what he just said. I guess 42 years ago, Billy, where's Billy? 42 years ago, Bill Mason, Billy. I think 42 years ago we came into the program, correct? 40 years ago. 40 years ago, right around this month, in this month. I have nothing planned to say tonight. The thing that I do want to talk to each and every one of you about is what Habilitat means to me, what Habilitat means to graduate, to leave this program, to go back out into society where each and every one of us need to be at some point. You're not going to be in a program all your life. You're going to be back out in the field. Are you pregnant? Are you? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should never say what's on my mind. I apologize. But anyway, there are a lot of kids being born right now. What could I tell you? There's also a lot of people in jail today, okay, that don't have the privilege that we have to sit here. Right now, if you close your eyes, there's probably in Oahu prison or whatever you want to call it, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people sitting there. So I always try to envision myself not being free, okay? Each and every one of you are free, whether you're sitting here in these chairs being told what to do, how to do it, how to get up out of bed, how to make your bed, how to respect another person, how to talk about your feelings, identify with each other. I mean, that's what a program is all about. It's like what your mom and dad tried to teach you as kids. We all rebelled from people in our lives. I know I did. Is there anybody in this room that did not rebel from their mom and dad or any figure in your life? Everybody says, who rebelled? Everybody should be putting their hand up. Do you know what rebellion is? Who can answer that question?
It's going against the grain.
Going against the grain. And why do we go against the grain? We want to do everything our way all the time, right? Everything that we do our way brought us here. I was a dope fiend. I shot dope. 16 years old, my father, I don't know where he was. My mother was a waitress. She worked in a restaurant. She'd come home and she'd have like $18 that she made in tips, and we'd have to like live off of that. My grandmother lived upstairs. I had nothing when I was a kid. I had no education. Didn't know how to read, didn't know how to write, dyslexic. So the only way I could feel good about myself was to go out and get high, destroy myself, stick a fucking needle in my arm. Just like everybody in this room, we went out and tried to destroy ourselves. Your mother and your father brought you here. Somebody brought you here. We all showed up in life. We didn't ask to come here. Vinny used to tell me that all the time. You know, we didn't ask to come here. We showed up. Now I'm your responsibility. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what happens to people. We start to destroy ourselves. We start to destroy our character. Is drugs your problem? No. Was drugs my problem? Yeah, when I couldn't go out and get high and I needed to go get some drugs, I'd go knock somebody over the head, take some money, go out and get high, but drugs wasn't my problem. Something happened to me in my life, some sort of character disorder. Something that caused me to be afraid to look in the mirror at myself. Can anybody identify with that?
Yes.
Really? And you don't have to give me lip service. You can just say what you want to say. I came into this program, and I'm no different than anybody in this chair. Okay? I went to jail, went to prison, you know, did things that, you know, I never should have did. I said things to people, I hurt people, I stepped on people, I did, you name it, I did it. Okay? And that was called survival in my world, just like your world. I had no respect for anybody in this world. Didn't care about anybody, anything. That's the way I grew up. I walked into Abilitat, and I had never listened to anybody in my life tell me what was right, what was wrong, what was good for you, wasn't good. You know, I just did whatever I wanted to do. No boundaries at all. So I come into Abilitat and I look around and I see, you know, these people that are like me, other junkies, other drug addicts, other people that were fucked up in their life. You know, I couldn't relate to normal people. I couldn't talk about things that were going on with me, things, crazy things in my head, emotions and anger and wanting to just walk up and punch somebody in their face because I was so mad, or because they did this in their life and they had that and I had nothing. I was angry to people. I had a chip on my shoulder you couldn't believe. So then I finally enter Abilitat and I meet Vinny. And I know, how many of you have ever met Vinny or read anything about him or talked about him? Or probably not that many, a few, okay?
Read about him.
Read about him. Has anybody really met him? His daughter's here, family here, people are here, granddaughter's here. A lot of people that have met him. He started this program. He brought, and his wife Vicky brought this program to life. And essentially, this was an old mansion. This was, Miss Bigelow owned this property. And Vinny had what was called drive and vision of things that he wanted to accomplish in his life, not only for himself, but for other people. So he put Abilitat together back in 1971. And I'm sure you've known the story. Most of you know the story of how Abilitat started. So what I'm going to talk about so much is my experience in this program, and then the other people that are my peer group, people that I grew up with in this program, will share some of their feelings and thoughts, and hopefully you'll ask questions, and hopefully you don't think it's bored. If you think it's bored, you can raise your hand and you can go out. You don't have to listen to what I have to say, okay? This is for you if you want it. If you don't want to listen, throw it out, okay? I don't, you know, take personally, okay? But when I did come here, I met a guy by the name of Leroy Stout, and he was bopping around, you know what I mean, with a cigarette in his mouth and, you know, tattoos and, you know, and I looked at Leroy and I said, damn, I said, he's a lot like me, you know? And I had this, you know, anger and like sat upstairs in the dorm up there, head shaved, and man, I didn't want to look in the mirror. I didn't want to talk about who I was. I just felt like this big piece of shit. Honestly, that's how I felt about myself. And so I remember Leroy coming over to the bed, and he said, man, how you doing? Because I was kicking drugs at that time. I was coming off of heroin and all kinds of other stuff that I was doing in the streets, and I was sick. And at that time, they didn't send you to a hospital, or, you know, you just kick cold turkey. Juice, milkshakes, walk you around, no hot tub or anything like that. So you know, stay warm and up all night and so on and so forth. But Leroy said, grabbed my hand, he said, hey man, he said, you know, I was exactly where you were, you know, about 6 months ago. And he said, you know, the place works. You know, he says, there's people here that could help you. There's people here that are helping me. You know, people I trust in, people I believe. And I started thinking about that. I said, you know, I never really had anything like that in my life, you know. So after I kicked and after I got everything out of my system a little bit, I started looking around at the environment and seeing what was here. And there was probably about 150 people. I don't remember. Lila, do you remember how many people were in the program then? Well, she's busy talking. Wait a minute. Hey, Jay, how many people were in the program about that time in 72, 73? 100 and some odd people?
Probably closer to 140,
140. We had like a rush of people coming, local guys coming in the program, guys from New York, guys from LA, people from all over, you know. And what was it? What was that? Smaller than that, yeah. That was later on. I think it was about 90 people, about what you have here. But it was like a melting pot of people. I had never met a local guy before. I was from New York. I was from the East Coast, you know. And I never met a lot of people from California before. So there was a lot of interaction, a lot of clashing between people. And I remember there was a guy by the name of Tino Hoke. He was humongous, this guy, big guy. But he was like the softest person you ever want to meet in your life. Another local guy, Billy Kupahea was his name. He still loved to play the guitar, sing Hawaiian songs, right, Billy? You remember Billy? Curly Silva. So what I experienced was that a lot of local people were a lot like Italians. We were like hard on the outside, pretty, you know, whatever, but very soft inside and very like loving, caring, and get hurt easy, you know. So little by little, I started getting inducted into the program, and you know, understanding that we were all, you know, screwed up, fucked up people, and we're all going to get the same thing out of this program. But the process is not going to be easy. The process is going to be very difficult, and you guys can identify with that. What's the hardest thing right now that you're going through the program? Tell me, one person, just tell me what is the hardest thing for you to handle today. Go ahead.
Emotions.
Stand up. Let's see.
Emotions.
And what? Well, explain that emotion. What?
Mastering my emotions in a way rather than running. I'm accustomed to running from my emotions, and now I'm forced to face them, and it's kind of difficult.
So what's different about facing them here than facing them out in the streets or being in jail? Same emotions, right? What's the difference?
The difference here is I gotta face them. I don't have that option.
Exactly. And you've got a support group around you. You've got a network around you. That's, to me, if I were to describe what's the magic about Abilitat, okay? Because this program, believe it or not, there is not another program in the world like Abilitat. This program was conceived by two people, Vinny and Vicky. They've made every philosophy, everything that's in this program, they conceived it. So the thing that's different is when you have a problem, or like he just said, you have a support group of people that's going to understand you. If you talk about something that happened to you out in the street, or whatever it was, somebody abused you, or somebody grabbed you and banged your head into the wall and did whatever they did that's hurt you for your whole life, that's scarred you inside, there's other people that are going to put their hand out and reach out to you, that you can confide in. I mean, these are the things that caused us to hurt ourselves. Not one big issue in our life. It's a little series of a lot of little things. Can you identify with that? What's one or two issues that little things that have bothered you in your life? That, you know, say it if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Yeah.
Choices that I was making.
What was that?
I was making wrong choices
Right.
right off the bat. You know, I wasn't thinking at all. I mean,
All
it
right.
was stuff. My parents taught me well, but I decided just to do my own thing. you
Okay.
know, and that was a bad choice right off the start.
Exactly. So you know, we all make bad choices in our life. We make really bad choices in our life, and we wind up in a place like this. So as I remember, I mean, how I go back into this program and think about the things that happened to me prior and then what happened when I came in here. We would have meetings like this, except Vinny would sit here, Vicky would be next to him, Frank Cockett would be on the other side, some of the other staff would be here, and we would talk about things, relate about things that happened in our life, or maybe something happened to one person. Maybe one person just got their head shaved, or one person just got a stocking cap, and Vinny would relate to everyone else what happened to that person. Not to hurt them or put them on the spot, but to make an example of how not to. Or what did that person do wrong to their self that caused them to be in this situation? Am I making sense to you? So I have no idea what I'm here to talk to you about tonight. I had no preconception. The thing I can tell you is what helped me make it through, and it's not easy to make it once you leave here, I'll tell you right now. You don't just put your jacket on, take your clothes, and go into the sunset. You know what I mean? Like you see these movies, the cowboy going into the sunset, hey, see you later, happy trails. That doesn't happen. It's not easy leaving here. Okay? So I had no conceptions about what I was going to talk to anybody about tonight. But the reason I came here is because there's about 15 people or 20 people that are friends of mine that I've had for 40 years, including Vicky, little Vicky Marino, Vinny's daughter, and Vicky's daughter, who I watched get born here in this facility. I got married here. Vinny and Vicky got married here. I watched Lila. I knew Lila at 12 years old. Lila's daughter, Alicia. I moved back to the islands, and Lila was in the hospital being born with Alicia. So what this place is like is my family. This is where I grew up. This is where I learned how to stand on my feet again. This is where I learned how to be honest. This is where I learned that I have no other chances in life. You got chances. You could leave, go out this gate right now, go out and find some dope or paint or whatever the hell you do to get here. You can get high. You can sit back and, you know, go like this. But you're going to wake up and the shit's going to come back at you again. There's no way out of this. There's only one way out. And that's like finding out about yourself, learning what it is, go back out into society, hold your freaking head up, because you're no different than anybody else. Whether you meet a doctor, a lawyer, or a psychologist, whatever it is, you are no different. No different. Can you believe that? I never felt that way. And it took me a while when I left here. But I feel that way now. Yeah, they're maybe more educated. This guy's a brain surgeon. I mean, he's got to be more intelligent in certain things than me. Or he's a financial advisor like Bill Mason is. Okay? He knows finance. You know? But is he any better? No, we're both human beings. You don't have to put yourself down. You don't have to feel bad about who you are or what you did. Once you get it out, and that's what Vinny always used to say, it's like the belly of the beast. Like in your belly, you hold this beast inside. And it's like you want to just vomit it out. You want to get it out until you can start using this. This controls you. But you need this to control you, your head. You have to think. You have to learn how to stand back. You have to learn how to deflect things, not react, not punch, not hit, not run. You know, the reason I can tell you these things is because I'm coming from experience and coming from my heart. I don't write anything down on a piece of paper. I don't talk in front of groups of people. I've had businesses in my life after I left here. Pretty successful in certain things. I failed at a lot of things too. I'm in the import business. I make a very good living. I support a family. I have a stepdaughter that's a drug addict. I know I can't help her. She has to be on her own. I've offered her Abilitat, doesn't want to help it. Someday she'll hopefully come around. But people are people, we're people. That's all we are. And we could get out of where we are. It's proven. There's no cure. You know that, right? There's no cure. Like Vinny used to say, there's no magic pill. You don't just get up and take a pill, next day you're fine. The thing I hate is I sit down at TV and watch TV at night, you see these 30-day commercials come on TV. Oh, come to this program. Beautiful setting in LA or beautiful setting in Florida, swimming pools, hot tubs, this and that. $24,000 will get you well in 30 days. Who believes that? Any one of you believe that? Can you get well in 30 days? But there's people out there that actually think that and will pay that kind of money. Their parents would go broke. They financed their house to put their kids in a program. You know. I hope you guys can get a little something from me or any of the other people that are going to talk to you tonight. Nobody asked me to come here. The reason I came here tonight, I've got terminal cancer. I got stage 4 cancer. I've got brain cancer. I've got kidney cancer. I've got cancer of the lymph nodes. I've got cancer of the spine. They told me 3 years ago I had a month and a half to live. This is not a sympathy story either. I don't want you to feel bad for me, okay? They told me 3 years ago, you're dead. Can't cure you. I said to the doctor, I said, you know what? Thank you. How much I can't tell you exactly how much time you have. I said, how am I going to die? He said, I said, the only thing I'm afraid of dying is I don't want to suffocate. He said, oh, we got medication to take care of you for that. So I've been living the last 3 years as a result of it. And part of how I've been living, and I was telling Jeff Nash today, and I remember when Jeff came in the program, I remember talking to his mom and his dad on the phone about him coming in from Texas. But I forgot, I lost my trend. But anyway, the doctor told me, I forgot what I was saying.
The doctor telling you, can't tell you how long.
Oh yeah, couldn't tell me how long I was going to live. And I remember Vinny's face saying to us in one meeting, and Lila might remember this, someday we're all going to get cancer, someday we're all going to be faced with things that we can't handle, but motherfucker, don't dwell on it, stand up to it, and fucking don't let it control you. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not going to let it control me. I stopped taking the chemo drugs, my head fell out, my hair fell out, turned yellow. I mean, was like 175 pounds. Now I got my weight back. I cut my life by 50%. I decided to take no more chemo, let life just give me whatever it's going to give me. But the thing I wanted to do, and Billy Titcomb is probably the driving force for me, was to come back here where I felt I was born, not reborn like the Christians, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I wanted to come back here, and probably the last time, I don't know, maybe it's not, but I wanted to face you guys and my peer group of friends, which I've had for the last 40 years, as I said, and hopefully give you guys something. Hopefully that you will try to keep what I'm giving you. It's like a gold coin to put it in your pocket and say, you know what, this guy did it, and I hope I can do it. That's what Vinny did to me and his wife. To this day, I think of him, I think of Vicky, I think of all the things they told me. Vinny used to sit in a chair just like this, and we'd have meetings sometimes 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And we talk about things going on with our lives. Like AAA, you share things. We're a little different. We do it a little bit different. We scream at each other. We fucking vomit on each other. But we also reach out and hug each other too, right? Because we need that from each other. And you've probably heard a million things from a million people about how to get your life together. But at some point, a bell will ring in your head, hopefully, and then you'll want to get on with your life. But the thing I'll tell you is, while you're in this program, whatever your peer group is, okay, whatever people you came in within the same 3 to 6 months or whatever it is, you're going to need those people. Just like I have. And they're here. A lot of them are here. And I brought a friend of mine from Seattle with me. He's not here tonight because he's on a business venture, but we work together. And he came to the little get-together we had last night at Bill Tickham's house. And he said, God, he said, when I saw your friends and people that are in this room, it's like you guys were together every day. I mean, like you just talked yesterday. And I haven't seen half of these people for 20 years. But the bond that we had and the way we communicated with each other, it was like in 2 minutes, we tapped into each other. In 2 minutes, I could tell anybody what's going on with me, and vice versa. That's valuable. That's very valuable. There's no psychiatrists or psychologists, and as much money as you have that you can pay to go get that. And all I'm doing is passing on to you what Vinny passed on to me. Jeff asked me, or this other gentleman, Devin, asked me what's different about this program. And the thing that's different about this program are we're real people. There's no magic. There's no pill. Criminal A helps criminal B. Anybody have any questions? Because there's other people that want to say some things to you. Yes.
What was the most significant thing you got out of this program?
Oh, God. I don't know if I could just say one thing, but I think the most significant thing that I got out of this program was to listen to other people. Listen to what they had to say to me about me, okay? Because, like, you can't see what your ears look like. I could tell you, right? And I never really wanted to hear what people saw me, how they saw me, okay? And most of the time, 90% of the time, they're right, but you try to, push it back. So I think that's the most significant thing that I learned in the program, was to take that and not run away from it, not push those people away. Any other questions? I'd like to hear some questions. Yeah, Joe.
It's been a while. It's been a little while since you've been here. What kind of changes do you see in the 2013 Habilitat compared to the 1971 Habilitat? And if are there differences? And if so, what do you see that's still significantly like it was then?
Well, I look around, I see the same faces. The names are different, the faces are different, the bodies, the people, same. There's no different. The physical surroundings are different. Place looks great. We have a beautiful kitchen. We have a beautiful facility here. I'm sure nice beds, good blankets, good food, whatever it is. All that has changed. Okay, because we had things a little bit different. We had to buy things and live on Simon, or I don't want to give you the whole story, okay? You guys have that part good. But all these things here that you see have not changed. This program is not different in any way. The exact same way it was in 1971. It's what Bill Mason learned. It's what Billy Titcomb learned. It's what Jay Dotson learned. With everybody that's been in this program, Dee Dee, where's Bob Trapp? Bob Trapp learned. We're all a peer group of people that at one point, I think a lot of us hated each other. Honestly, we resented the shit out of each other. I resented Bob because he was so intelligent as far as he could take a goddamn motor apart and put it back together in 2 days. I mean, anything that tinkered, anything that worked. Had a motor or had anything, he could figure it out. He could figure that out. Okay? And, so I resented that. Anybody can identify with that kind of stuff? Huh? See, it's little things. It's nothing big. It's all these little things that gets us to that point. You know? Maybe your father beat the shit out of you when you were a kid. My father did. He kicked me in the stomach. I can remember that. So sometimes later on in life, you start treating people like that. You know? We've been abused, we abuse. We got to learn how to change all that stuff. So I don't want this to be like a lecture, because it's not a lecture. Not a lecture at all. Hopefully you walk away with something. Hopefully there's something you keep for yourself. Okay? The thing I will tell you, and you can vouch for it, this program works. This is not a bullshit 30-day program, 90-day program. You're dealing with people. You're dealing with everyday life. You know that. It's hard. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. I can't talk more about Vinnie Marino because he was probably the biggest figure in my life. I know the way he smelled. I know he wore a leather coat. He put Brute on his face. You remember Joe Namath used to, I know how he smells. And these are all things that keep you in life, keep you focused, keep you having this little bit of respect for yourself. I remember all the things he told me in life, what you need to do, how you're going to be able to make it through this world, how difficult it's going to be. You step out that door, you're on your own. You don't have Jeff Nash to point out, you know, this, that, and the other thing about you. You don't have, what's your name? Patrick. Patrick to Mike. Patrick's not going to tell Mike, you got to do this, you got to do that. Mike's on his own. There's people out there that are dealing drugs. There are people going to walk by you. You got to make that choice every day. Here you're controlled. There you can do whatever the hell you want to do. But you need to be able to control that. Understand what you're going to do to yourself. You hurt you. You don't hurt anybody else. You're the one that winds up in prison, locked behind doors. It's like just people right now. I got a friend that was in this program. He's doing 25 years. He's still there. He's got about 13 more to go. You know, I don't want to be in that position anymore. I don't know about anybody else in this room. So, but anyway, there's other people that, you know, I think should share some things with you, and maybe, I don't know who wants to go first. Maybe Lila? I don't know. You want it? Jay?
You want to look at the slides?
Oh, yeah. Let's look at the slides. Maybe other people can come up and look at the slides. Well, I mean, is that one of the slides, Jay? Okay, that's Abilitat. When we first came here, it was just an old broken down facility. There was, what they call it, Vinny's called the artichoke tree in the middle, remember? That big round circle in the middle? Oh, yeah. And what we had to do is police the grounds. What?
It was a white bird of paradise.
The white bird of paradise, you're right. And, you know, it was all overgrown, and it just, you know, it is what it was. Miss Bigelow lived next door, and she was what? She was
She was Lyman Bigelow's wife.
Lyman Bigelow's wife, very wealthy woman, loved Vinny, loved Vicky, and gave us this property, or donated this property to Abilitat.
Well, we bought it.
Or we bought it.
We bought it.
Yeah.
But we rented it for a long time.
Yeah.
Until we were able to finance it.
Right. So this program is a private program owned by Abilitat. Abilitat Inc. owns this program. We're not federally funded or anything. So, but that was the facility. Is this interesting to you guys? I mean, I hope it is. I really do. You know? It's, that's me when I was first here. So, big nose. And, you know, what could I tell you? Screwed up teeth. But that was 1972, 73. Right before I got married. Yeah. Oh, that's me. That's Curly. Who is that? Who? That was Rita.
That's
Rita?
Rita, and that's Tom Hedden.
Oh, Tom Hedden. Okay. That was when we had our businesses. That was the induction center, or I think it was induction. Is what that was. Yeah. That was down here. And Jay actually ran. That's when I had hair.
And isn't that you right there?
Yep, and that's my ex-wife.
And there's Lila.
Right? There's Jay, Lila, and yeah, that's Jay, Big Jay. Yeah. All right, Jay baby.
The only thing is this and the
Yeah,
chicken neck.
and that was probably one of the Christmas dinners that we had, and we got all of our food imported from New York, right, Lila? We used to get all the food. People from New York used to donate the food to us, and we'd have great dinners here. Vicky would cook all the food, and yeah, it's a family basically. All right.
Are we ready?
Yep, we're ready. Unless anybody else got somebody else. There's Vinny. And Vinny would give Vic Modesto, Toby Jenkins, and if you look at that blackboard, Vinny would always come up and give what's called a chalk talk, and he would draw, you know, different people, different businesses. He always had a vision, and that's the same thing I asked Jeff today when we sat in the office trying to bring up to date what's going on with Abilitat. Where's the vision? He could tell me where Abilitat wants to be 3 years from now, 4 years from now, because Jeff is continuing with the vision.
That
See,
was
Vinny,
inside the house.
what was that?
That was inside the house.
Inside the
That's
house
where
that
we used
was.
to have our meetings.
In that office
Yeah,
up
it's the
there.
bottom of the stairs, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
banister right there?
exactly.
Downstairs, yep.
If we got this from somebody, Vinny wanted this. He never settled for mediocrity. That was the word he always used, mediocrity. Don't settle for it. Remember the oyster and the eagle and the oyster? Eagle and the oyster.
We still teach that.
40 years ago, I still remember that. Eagle and the oyster.
That is actually the warehouse, what is now the warehouse.
We lived in that thing, I think it was. There
We
was
lived
like
in it
a,
when I was in it.
yeah, we lived in that thing. The little rooster used to wake you up in the morning, right?
And I still do.
Yeah, still do? All right, see? You remember that
Different
too?
rooster, same problem.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Lila.
That's B-dorm and admin.
Yeah.
So here's the entrance to admin right here. And that's Jimmy's bedroom down
Oh,
there.
Jimmy who?
Jimmy's one of our new staff.
Oh, okay. Bill Mason's going to be next.
So that's when they were.
Okay, this part I don't know about, so this was when I was gone, I believe. Yeah.
This is before all the buildings were built. That's the main house, the side office, and no basketball court. I guess they were clearing.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, that's way later.
That's way later.
And
That was after you guys were done clearing it out, yeah?
That was all driveway and garden.
Yeah, it was all landscape.
So I guess this is about the same period then, yeah?
what year was that? In the 80s, right?
That would have been either,
Well,
80?
we'll ask, where's Kevin? Kevin, we might as well ask you. You're the expert from the 80s
Who's Kevin? Wait.
and 2013
Where?
and oh no, and 87. Oh wait,
Kenny.
when did they build this building?
1980?
when,
1980. All right. How's that? Laundry, family.
All right.
Now they have washing machines.
I see a T-shirt that I sold over there, the Rose and Crown Pub.
Really?
Remember that? We sold them thousands of T-shirts, remember? Downtown? We were hustlers in those days, man.
So that's inside the house.
Anybody know who these?
Yeah, that's Mike, two Mikes, Kelly Crowder,
Billy right there.
Tom Hurst.
Billy, there's Billy, yeah, Tom Hurst,
There's Donnie Veal, the albino Negro, right in the
Zuni in the back, Sandy, what was her name? Sandy Lila, what was that, the Portuguese girl. She was great.
Cindy Medeiros.
Cindy, oh yeah, she was great, Cindy. All right,
That's half two.
Hab 2. Doing yoga on the ground. No. Who knows what we were doing? Hab 2.
The,
That's the steak warehouse.
the back door
Yeah.
to the back door to the kitchen was always open, and this is on the state hospital grounds. So every now and then, you go in the kitchen, and there'd be one of the hospital patients, with his gown on,
That's right. They escaped.
making coffee. He would just say hello, hey, how's it? Just making coffee, and you know that from the outfit, you don't want to say anything. Just go, oh, so how did you get in? Oh, the door was open.
Oh God.
So it was fun being on the state hospital ground.
Remember those cars, Jay? Those little Chevrolets we had?
Yeah.
We had about 5
Oh
of them.
yeah.
Yeah, they were house
Yeah,
vehicles.
yeah, they were.
We shipped some to Baltimore.
And shipped them back
We had,
too.
yeah, we shipped them back too. Yeah. That's the house.
Yeah.
That was like the nerve center, man.
Yeah.
That was like it.
So would this be the coordinator?
That was a coordinator,
Yeah,
house
yeah.
manager, coordinator, whatever. Expediters. Yeah.
Yeah, expediters had to come
And
up
then
to
the girls' dorm
come
is
up to the
upstairs,
window.
The girls' dorm upstairs. And then the guys were all the way around all the facility rooms out here.
And then behind there, through the threshold of the door there, that was our kitchen.
Right.
There was an open lanai. So it was
Yep.
completely open. That's where they would
Yeah.
cook, and that's where we would eat.
Tiny kitchen too. Remember the kitchen was small.
Basic concept?
Yeah.
Right
Huh?
there, that we still have that plaque.
The plaque? Where's
Yeah,
that?
it's the same one.
In the house.
This is a new one.
Cool.
We still have the old one. It's in there.
Excellent. Excellent.
And then in the back of the house, you can't see it, but in the back of the house, they had the two the Bobo stools. The ones that were kind of like
Yeah.
this high and just high enough so your legs were just swinging no matter how,
Yeah.
feeling like an idiot, looking out into the bay. You guys still have a Bobo stool? No?
What?
But it's in storage right now.
It's in storage. That was and nobody could talk to you. Everybody walked by. If they see you on the Bobo stool, they just walk by and you see him talk. Oh, you see Jay? He was on the Bobo stool.
Why don't we get?
Now, why do we call it Bobo stool?
No, the
What
it
is
was
that
called
Bobo
the ben-
stool?
the bench. But it was
Why don't we get the rest of the residents that are from the same peer group come up? The oldest resident
Oh,
is
look at
Dennis,
Lila.
right?
Look at Lila.
The oldest, not in age, because I think I'm older than everybody else here, but in conception time, Dennis is number 1 resident.
Yeah.
He came into the program when there were 20 people, Dennis? 20?
Oh, no, I was 16.
16 people in the program when he came here.
There's about 20 people.
Maybe 20.
I was 16.
Okay. Bill Mason came in when?
December 71.
71. Bob? Same year. Why don't you guys come up front too and look at the slides and answer questions?
Ask if they have any questions. Ask what questions they have about how things were back then.
All right, go ahead.
What kind of questions
Questions.
folks have about how we were treated as residents back then, as compared to what you go on today, whether it was the encounter
That's a good one.
pull-ups or things like that.
Pull-ups, that's a big thing.
Pull-ups haven't changed.
The girls have. They're having a hard time getting it right now.
Yeah.
Gotta accept those pull-ups.
The girls are having some pull-up lessons.
Okay.
Do you still have an RV box?
We have an RV desk now.
Oh, you do?
We had a box.
Dennis is right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Claude Brown, yeah, he's passed away.
Man, you had it going on then.
Becky Ewell, look at that. Oh, wow.
Is that Ted?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ted. Yep, yeah.
But
Matthew?
when you're coming in here, everything has to be the perfect storm of shit, right? Fuck, you're in jail, you're strung out, whatever the problem is. I mean, there's always a crisis when you come in. I'll tell you a quick story because everything is linked. So I was in the Army, and I was stationed in Germany in the early 70s, and I was an entrepreneur. So I used to sell heroin, after hours, and I had a built-in audience. I didn't have to, just had to walk to the next barracks, and you know, so. Anyway, needless to say, I got caught. I got sent to jail. I got sent to Leavenworth. I did a year in Leavenworth. So when I came out of the program, while I was in Leavenworth, I met another guy from Hawaii, so they called us the Pineapples. You know, it was a Samoan kid. So I gave him we exchanged names and numbers, and you know. So he gets out before me, and he comes back, and he's goes to a strip club on Nimitz Highway, beats a guy to death with a baseball bat, drops his wallet. Cops find it. You know, the only number in there is mine and my name with my parents' address. So, you know, the SWAT take down my parents, laid out, you know. So by the time I got out, I felt like, you know, I owed them, you know, something. And so they told me, again, with some of these guys that were here, I came in 75, and some of the guys that had were in the sales division. They used to sell advertising stuff, you know, pens, pencils, calendars with the company business name on. So they had visited my father, who was a local businessman. He was very impressed. He said, "Wow, these guys said, you know, today we came through the front door, but you know, last week we might have come through the skylight," and you know, so he couldn't believe that these guys, you know, used to be drug addicts and all this. So he asked me to go down and to speak with them. I felt I owed him that because I'm not thinking about myself. I think I'm fine. I just got out of prison. I'm looking to wake up, you know, make up for lost time. So I go down to the induction center, used to be in Waikiki. I pulled up with my '66 Mustang right onto the grass. They all came out yelling at me, you know, "Get your fucking car off the grass," you know. So I went in. So one of the guys working there was Bob Thrapp. He's with the orange hat. So, you know, he's talking to me and he's trying to, you know, you don't realize they can just see right through you. You know, you're just running some game on them and they're just chuckling inside because, you know, they know you're fucked up and you just don't realize it yet. So he said, you know, you should, you know, try to get some help. You know, why don't you get yourself together? Where the fuck are you headed? You know, you're going nowhere.
How much more time should we do this?
And I said, well, you know, I just come out of jail. I had $3,500 cash, which was like, you know, I don't know, back in the day, it was a lot of money. Had my car back and everything, looking to make up for lost time. So I said, you know, looks like you guys have a good thing going here. I'd like to commend you guys. You guys are really helping the community and, you know, keeping these drug addicts off the streets. But I said, listen, thanks anyway, and I'll see you later. So I went for another run for a year and this and that. Went to Guam and Saipan, got worse, and heroin from Vietnam floating all over the place, and came crawling back a year later. So sure enough, I go in the induction center. Well, now Bob is sitting at the, you know, the main big ass desk. So he goes, yeah. He goes, you know, so I used to work here last time, you know, you were here. He says, you know, now I basically run the induction phase for, you know, for Habilitat, and he goes, so that's kind of what I've been doing, you know, and I've, you know, got married, and you know, what have you done in the last year since we've met? You know, and I was all cabbage and skinny and, you know, fucking holes in my clothes. And so he said, well, you know, I got to take care of a few things, and then, you know, we'll go for a ride. So, you know, I'm thinking we're going for lunch. You know, we're going to Zippy's or something. So at one point he says, come on, let's go. So, you know, we go out, we go in his car. And so he's driving, you know, and all of a sudden I realize we're going over the mountain. You know, I said, well, where are we going? He goes, oh, I'll run you out to the program and, you know, let you take a look around, you know, see what's going on. I said, oh, wait. I said, I got loose ends to tie up. He goes, oh, like what? I said, I can't think of them right now, but I got a number of things I got to take care of, you know. He just kept driving. Brought me on the facility, expediters yelling and screaming. I thought they was going to jump me or something. I didn't understand what the hell was going on. And before you know it, I was on the Bobo bench and, you know, in the back office. And, you know, first of all, there was a bunch of guys that had been around for quite a while. And they were talking to me when I came, you know, because they knew I was an idiot. And so a couple guys talked to me and told me, you know, how long they'd been here and how much it's meant to them and how they feel they've changed and all this and opportunities here and all. You know, it seemed like real nice guys. And, you know, all of a sudden they call me in the room, and then there's like, they set up the interview. So it was like this big horseshoe, you know, of chairs like this, and it had like 15 guys, you know, and all the main guys and this and that and all the fucking mokes, you know, they all. So now all of a sudden nobody's smiling. Fuck, I just talked to them outside and they were so nice, you know. Now they had their stink face on and they was looking at me and they go, what the fuck you doing here? Oh, I said, Bob brought me. I said, I'm with Bob. Shut up. You're a fucking loser. And they, you know, they went on and on, like, you know, just capping me. And I said, fucking sticking needles in your arm. What, are you a fucking chemist? Do you know what, you know? And I'm thinking they're waiting for I'm answering them. I said, oh, no, but, you know, I usually get from the same guy, so I kind of know. Shut up, you fucking idiot. And before you know it, the boat was coming, I don't know, and the boat had a hole, and fucking thing was sinking, and I had to scream, you know. This was not my plan for that day, you know. Bob fucking tricked me. But no matter what, that's how I ended up here, you know. And they probably knew, you know, like this, we got to trick this idiot because he'll just kill himself. He will never realize. If we wait for him to say, oh, I need help, or yeah, you know, I want to start this program and fix my life, you know, I had no vision. I could only see to hear. So that's how it is. Just so you guys know, when we come here, we still have ownership in all this. You seen us, we all walked around and you know, we're looking at everything. We own this fucking floor that we sat on. You guys got chairs, you guys are soft. You guys are fucking soft, man, you know. But we own this, every inch of that fucking kitchen and that fucking washing, dishwashers in the same spot, you know. Every single thing in here, you know, we have that, you know, proprietorship that, you know, we notice, we look, and we see, you know, what's clean. Of course, it's always usually pretty clean over here because usually have a special crew of people. Who's on a situation right now? Okay,
Whoa,
all right.
wow.
That's my people. That's my people.
Jay was always on a situation.
Picture me, you know, with Bolo, but, you know, I'm with you guys in spirit. So anyway, let me shut up and let.
No,
But that's how I got here. I mean,
Dennis
you know,
and Bob should come up and, where's Bill Mason? Should come up because they're the oldest residents. And Billy and Leslie too. Everybody should come up and just take over here.
Bob,
Your picture's up here,
Bob.
Bets.
say something.
Hurry up.
My name is Bob Trapp, and I was the director of induction for 5 years. And I came here, I'm a local boy from Kailua, and I was sentenced to 50 years in OP for sales and possession of heroin. And so when I came here, it's just like everybody else, just like Pat. We came here and they called it a place of change. Well, the only thing I wanted to change for was to change my clothes and my shorts because they were dirty. There was no, we knew, nobody had a concept of what is a place of change. And that's, I think, one of the most important concepts is that if you can remember why you came here and think about how long you've been here, and it may seem like infinity until you're going to get out of here, but it's going to go real fast. And one day you're going to turn around like the rest of us and you're going to go, oh, there's my buddy Pat from 40 years ago.
40 years
I
ago.
mean, we're all starting to get gray, right? I'm 65 years old, you know? It's
I
like,
got you beat by 2.
yeah, you got me beat by a couple years. But the friends you make in here are going to be with you the rest of your life. And I say that truthfully. You can go away, you can get married and have a family, and you can call up one of these people, and they go, this is who? And you'll trick their memory, and they go, I remember you. And they may not have been your best friend, but we all came through this concept together, and it was tough. And it's just as tough for you to sit there and listen. I had to listen to people like myself for, 2.5 years, Pat? We sat in a room
yeah.
like this, and
Yeah.
people would come up and say, hey, I did this, I did it. And the way that it helped me was that, hey, I know there's somebody else can do it. And here you have before you collectively probably 120, 150 years of human life
Yeah.
that was saved by this concept.
Yeah.
And I stress to you people about making friends while you can, because you can't learn everything. When you come through here, you're going to be a specialist. Somebody may be a plumber. I was the first person to get a college degree after getting through Habilitat. I was also the first person to get a full and free pardon from the state of Hawaii for all the crimes I committed, from Governor George Ariyoshi then. That was in 1983. It took me 13 years of appealing to the state, saying, hey, look, I did this, I went to school, I had a family, I did this. But the thing I think I want to stress to everybody is don't quit. No matter if you walk out the door, if they shave your head, stocking caps. I relate to this guy over here. I was the first guy to, a male to wear a stocking cap, because it's more macho that they shaved our head. And in my case, they said, you're going to wear a stocking cap like the females. Well, that about killed me. That's one of the first time I wanted to walk out the door. And through the friendships I made here, that's how I got through. And those friends, I tell you to make friends. I don't care who the guy is or where he came from, make those friendships. They're going to last you a lifetime. And you may say, well, I hate this guy because I work with him every day and he's lazy and he does this and he steps on my foot and he gets in my way and he rats on me. You know, he gives me up every time I do something that's not in line. Well, guess what? That's going to turn out to be your best friend someday, believe it or not. Those are the people that are going to save you. So that's the key I would make with you is develop those friendships because they're going to get you through life. You can't do this alone. And that's, I think something Pat will agree with that too. You know?
Oh, yeah.
You,
I'll give you a quick example of what
Give me an
happened to me
example.
2 years ago. Lila will attest to this. You know, I got brain cancer. And I ran through all this people. Who can I talk to? Can I talk to this one? Can I talk to that one? You know, it's kind of a personal thing. You know, I needed advice. Okay, I need somebody to sound. It was like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in Seattle time. I called you up out of the blue, right? And I said, Lila, I got brain cancer. Her mom had brain cancer. So what do? I started telling her what I was going to go through. And she didn't tell me a whole lot of things, what to do, what not to do, but it was somebody I trusted. She was never a drug addict. She was never, you know, on the streets like all of us, but she went through the program. She's somebody I grew up with, somebody I trusted. So I confided in her, just like Bob is saying. You use all these people. This is what's going to help you through the rest of your life. Not just today or tomorrow. We're not playing for games here. I mean, these are live bullets you're playing with, not just a game. Unless you want to stay here for a couple of months and go back out and do it again. That's insane.
the
So
insane part.
other people want to talk too.
Yeah,
So
that's good. I want to bring Dennis Norton up here. He's one of the people that
oldest.
he went. Yeah, bring Dennis up here. This is a person who's going to talk to you about education. He's going to stress to you about the importance of education once you either get through Habilitat or while you're in Habilitat. This is what you can do with your life. And he's a perfect example. He's probably had more education than any 5 people put together here. But that's what I want Dennis to talk to you about. But let him tell you in his own words.
He's literally a rocket scientist.
Really?
No,
Really?
exactly.
Really?
Tell him, Dennis.
Uh,
You got it, man.
Any questions? Yeah. Where do I start? I don't know. Is in one of those pictures? Let's see. The program had just moved from the Kailua house, which is where it started, in a house in Kailua, and let's see, is that like the 20th or 30th person, I guess, somewhere in that number here. So one of the few people that came in right after they relocated on this property. I swear those beds upstairs are the same ones that I slept on. Those metal frame beds, I guess they had been stripped and repainted, but it was exactly the same style. They were just up over, I guess, where the ladies are now. That was the size of the program in the main house. So then all this other stuff happened. I eventually got out. Went to Windward Community College. Got interested in science. I was always interested in science, chemistry. Had to work into it, and that was a joke. Chemistry, drugs, get it? Yeah.
Figured out
Had
the
an early
syringe.
appeal to me, yeah. So I went to Windward Community College, got more interested in science, the real stuff, and ended up with a degree in engineering. So then I went on from there. I'm teaching at HPU, math department. Yeah, Ian knows me. I didn't know anything about, I was not in that house, so I was here right after that. The reason I recognized those beds upstairs is because they were set up probably within just a few weeks before I showed up. So they were still moving into that dorm up there when I went through induction.
Bill might know.
Yeah, they were literally building those beds up there while, people were coming in the front door.
Oh, Bill?
Yeah, Bill's out there somewhere.
Bill Mason, where's he at? No.
Yeah, he came in after me.
Oh, so he wouldn't remember it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can only tell you the story. It was a 2 or 3 bedroom house
Yeah.
that Vinny, had a little pool, Kailua,
Yeah.
and Vinny rented it with their own money, right?
And they,
$400 bucks?
basically lived off of
Yeah.
church donated food.
Right. Yeah.
That
Lived off
they-
of church food.
The special of the day was the can that you opened. You had
Yeah.
no idea what was inside.
Right. And built the program from there.
Yep.
That's how
we
it
didn't eat
started.
much better here when we.
No,
when we-
slime in,
Yeah,
remember?
exactly.
Slime
yeah.
in snacks?
Drops,
For a long time, yeah.
Exactly. We used to mix.
But we didn't starve either, so that's
No,
cool.
we ate.
P&J's.
What was hard about it?
P&J gets you well.
Well, for me, the games, of course. I mean, I was very young. I came in, I must have been 16 or 17 years old. So the whole environment was difficult. But then again, I was young. I had no real expectations.
Living in a
So-
fishbowl.
Yeah.
So you went to school
Counter
here?
cruise? No. I finished high school here, dropped out of high school. And I finished high school
That's
here.
right, you had the cap on. You graduated right
Yeah,
here.
my picture's right back there.
Yeah.
It was first graduating class of the high school here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, back there, yep, in the white gowns, yeah. Yeah, I worked at the warehouse, that was in Kaneohe. So I did purchasing, ran trucks to pick up blankets, whatever you guys eat, and all that stuff, all those donations had to be picked up. So I worked with about 3 or 4 other people, kind of coordinating that. I ran the purchasing department. Actually, when I went to school, I was interested in business. So that's what I really went to do when I started Windward Community College. And then I took chemistry and physics and those other courses, and that reignited an interest. I always had an interest in that. Didn't know I had any aptitude to do it, and discovered that later on. So.
Then we have a finance major, somebody who's become very proficient in finance, Bill Mason, too.
Bill, come on up, Bill.
Well, Bill, I think you are. I don't know. You deal with a lot of money.
A what?
You deal with a lot of money.
That's true. That's true. My name is Bill Mason, and I was affiliated with Abilitat for 6 years. Came in when I was 20, and I was in the program for 3 years. We had a reentry house, over on the where it's Windward Community College is now. You know that. Went up there, came back down here, and then finally completed the program, and then worked in sales. We had, as you know, we had sales. So
Right.
for me, looking back and what may be useful to you, because I know you look at me, it's like you can't relate to me, but we can, we can relate to you. You don't know it. You don't think that we can know what's happening with you guys and what you guys are feeling, but we do. What you don't know maybe is what comes after, right? How are you gonna end up, right? How are you gonna get through this thing? And then when you walk out that door, how are you gonna stay out? And I just want to say that I think what worked for me was the phases. It's okay that I fell and came back again, because that's what I needed. But the part about the treatment phase, where you learn how to live differently, right? How to not react from your gut, react from your head. But then the business part, the training that we got in reentry, the vocational stuff, you got to have that down.
Very
You got to have
valuable.
that, because when you go out, you're set back. I mean, you're in a program for a couple of years, and on the outside, your peers have all been moving on, right? So you go out there, and it's like, wow, everybody's, how am I going to catch up? Okay? So it's a confidence thing. It's a confidence thing. I think that's really the key to focus on is just saying, I can do it. I can do it. So that's really all I have. If anybody wants to ask me a question.
Question? Yeah.
Billy.
Billy Titka, because, oh yeah, we got a question.
Way too many howlies in it. We're throwing them.
No, I went into reentry, and then I got sent back to treatment. Yeah.
What?
What did I struggle with the most?
Come on, Bill.
It was overcoming my fears of, whether or not I could make it on the outside. The fear, overcoming the fear. The games, everything was hard. It's the hardest thing I ever did in my life. Everybody will tell you the same thing. Hardest thing, but the most rewarding thing. When I look back on my life, I'm in my 60s now, and I think the two best things that happened for me was coming here and getting straightened out and learning that confidence, so I could go out and I could compete on any level that I chose if I applied myself. And I talked to myself, and I kept the confidence. I said, I'm as good as anybody.
All right.
And then the second thing was I met my wife in this program. This pretty lady over here is sitting next to Billy Titka.
All right.
So she and I have had children together, and we have been together for 37 years. We started
Wow.
started our
37.
relationship in this program. Any other question before I hand it over to Billy?
So, sticking with the finance, let's have Billy come up because he can do your taxes one day.
One last thing is, when you get out of here, even right now, you say, what can I possibly do? You look it up and say, okay, finance,
Billy boy.
accounting, own businesses, and so it's hard to relate. It's hard to relate, right? But when we were we had no idea we were going to do that. No idea at all. I was on a sales call. We were selling advertising specialties downtown in Honolulu, and Glenda Barker, she and I were in this building in downtown, and we were just calling on businesses and telling the Habilitat story. Whoever would listen to us, telling the story, trying to get an order, trying to sell some pens or keychains or whatever. And we went to a Dean Witter Reynolds stock brokerage firm, and we talked to these guys, and they told us about their business. And as Glenda and I were leaving, I said, I think I want to do that when I get out of here. And she laughed at me. Anyway, that's what I've done
And
for the
he
last 30-something years. It's worked out okay.
And you're successful.
So anyway, don't worry about it. Just worry about now. The rest is going to work out.
Right on, Bill.
Billy Titcomb.
Yeah. I don't know if I need this, but yeah. What's up, Adrian? I'm gonna probably get emotional. I came here when I was like 17, and
Hold it apart, Billy.
all right. Yeah, this is where I like everything they said. Like Bill said, the hardest thing I ever did was go through this program, and I did it twice. And I love this place, and I see everybody out here. It's just exactly the same guys that were here 40 years ago, or 30 years ago, or last 10 years ago. It's just the same program. And I came in here, and in a time where there were, Vinny was here. So obviously there was a whole different, little bit of a culture, a little bit of a Italian thing going on here, And just a
Little
little.
bit.
And but I'll say he was the first guy that treated me like he cared, that he didn't need anything. I didn't have anything he wanted. You know, I didn't have any good drug connections. I was 17 years old. You know, I just started using drugs. I was just pretty much a fuck up at that. You know, I didn't even know how to do that right. But I came here and I found friends and I found, you know, people that gave a shit. And, you know, I'm actually half Hawaiian, I mean, half Italian, you know. And so I never felt, you know, growing up in Hawaii, I was always like the fucking hapa haole, you know, or getting beaten up, you know. Coming over here, wasn't really pure Italian, you know. I didn't really know how to make the spaghetti
Wilbur.
just right, you know. So I was just always, you know, but I did find friends, you know, that was the biggest thing, that I could be with people, and I found out I could feel good without drugs. That was the biggest thing for me. I could get higher clean, you know, with friends. And I'm gonna tell you, I got some real awesome highs in, you know, being with friends. Nothing like it. And I was like, wow, you can feel this way without drugs. And that, you know, at that age for me, you know, to get that insight at age 17, you know, all my life I always remember, no matter what kind of drug, and I'm gonna tell you, I went out and I fell many times, you know. I can't tell you I had 20, 30 years clean and sober. That's some other guys. I came to this program but I'll never, no matter what drug, it did ruin my using, I'll tell you that, you know. It fucked it up pretty much, because I couldn't, you know, and not to say that there aren't good drugs out there, but it never quite did the trick after I came to this place, and because there was nothing like feeling a part of something, and feeling like guys cared, and, you know, friendships, right, Pat?
40 years, baby.
You know, and I came back and just like Bill. I met my wife here too. You know, I came back in the program, and when I was almost 30 years old, you know, and was fucked up, and, you know, they brought me back and they gave me a second chance. And I don't know what I lost my train of thought, but
Yeah, you said
something
you
about
met your wife and you came back, gave you a second chance.
second chance.
Oh, yeah. Leslie, you know,
Yeah.
remember her? Introduce her.
Yeah, right over there. Leslie is my wife of 26 years. And I'll say that we did fall in love right in that kitchen.
Yeah, flipping the pancakes.
When no one was looking.
Well, but I did play by the rules.
Yeah.
Somebody was watching.
And I played it by the rules, and you know, the program, I guess, you know, I guess it's the same. What I want to say is I just stayed on the property, and I wanted to split. I mean, I wasn't a real popular guy, you know. I was not a rock star in the program. I was just a regular guy, you know. I wasn't a, you know, never clinical, you know, never had much, you know, like you can see how I'm struggling now. And, you know, but I love this place, I guess, and yeah, I guess what I would say, I see out there just like the same guys. It's like the same freaking people, guys that are just trying to figure out what the fuck am I doing here, and what's in it for me, and, you know, what am I gonna do, you know? Because I sat out there for 5 years, twice, and I get to say, just stay on the property, just don't leave, and complete the program. And that was the big thing, not to leave and cut out before the miracle, you know, because this will be the one thing that you'll always be able to say. And I don't know, you know, other things you've done in your life, but this was by far the hardest fucking thing I ever did, was go through a bill attack. And you know, I'm not saying everybody goes through it, you know, or is perfect. You know, I'm no perfect person. Fell, but this really is the biggest thing that ever happened in my life, ever, by far. And you know, anyway, just want to say love you guys and good luck. You know. Yeah.
I just want to say that, you know, this is one view right now. I mean, you know, we could be a group of guys that graduated 5 years ago or 3 years ago, and they're, you know, perhaps, you know, they would be much younger.
Thank you.
Have more hair, everything. But, you know, that would be something you would say, okay, you know, this is, look what these guys are doing now. Oh, he was in, you know, working in services, and now he's doing this. Because I remember those days, guys that we had that used to just mow lawns. And then one guy, you know, went into the, you know, he got a job at a golf course. And before you know it, he was the head, you know, dude of the golf course, you know, had all the guys working for him. Just, you know, all these things just rolled off of, you know, what he got here. So I just want to say, you know, we understand in some way that, you know, some of this is going to, you're going to look at it and you say, well, you know, we're giving you a 35-year vision. You know, guys, we went through this program a long time ago. And, you know, we don't have the time to tell you what happened during those 35 years. But we will tell you that we struggled as well. We're still dope fiends. This place, you know, is not going to change you. There's no magic pills. It's going to teach you about you. You know, you're going to realize where your strengths and your weaknesses, how to make smart decisions. Sometimes you got to, you know, walk the other way. You know, all of these things, you know, and so, you know, 35 years, we've all had struggles and this and that in life and, you know, parents and, you know, relationships and all of these things. It just so happens that there's a bunch of us here tonight that, you know, also met our wives here in the program. And how we're still together 35 years. But I would like to introduce my lovely wife who went through the program. And I just want to tell the girls, one thing, which is I know she looks, you know, like a, you know, businesswoman and, you know, all of this stuff. But I'll tell you a story that when she was out on the street, she got in a.
Alicia's here.
Huh?
Alicia's here.
No, that's okay. When she was out on the street, oh yeah, she may not know this story. Write this down. You know, she was running and gunning. She got in a fight, you know, with another girl, and so she stabbed the bitch's feet.
Oh.
Okay. Because that ended the fight real, you know, if you think about it, it's actually, it was visionary, it was very smart. The fight was over, the girl couldn't chase her, she stabbed both of her feet, and that was the end of that. So I just want you to know, because she'll trick you, you won't know she has that in her, but, you know, we all rolled in here, you know, however we rolled in. So this is my lovely wife, Betsy. I'll let her talk. And I'll show you guys. Wait, I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys. No. Okay. I'll show you guys. I went crazy the other day.
I was gonna leave him, so he,
The hula girl, Kuwipo, and Betsy.
32 years.
All right, Jay.
We've been together a long time. I should talk on that.
She said you must have had two extra guys just to stretch your skin.
4. You know, I'm not prepared to say. Is this thing on? You know, I'm better off at one-on-ones and, you know, asking me questions and everything. But you know, I was reading this over here, and I when I came into the program, I mean, I was a fucking mess. That's the bottom line. I thought I was the shits, and I thought that the world evolved around me, and everything was me, me, me. And, you know, 32 years later, I realized that, you know what, it's not about me. It's about everybody else. And I put myself behind, and I don't think I'm, the shits anymore. And I wake up every morning and I'm like, thank you, Jesus, for everything that I have. Even though I don't have what this person has, or I don't have what I really want, I have what I have. And this is the kind of thing you guys need to look at, that, you may not have what the next guy has, but you have yourself. And that's all you need. That's all you need. Whatever happened in the past, happened in the past. It's gone. You can't do anything about it. The future's going to bring whatever happens, so don't even worry about that. And it's right now, this second, that really matters. And you have a choice. You either do the right thing or you do the wrong thing. And that will bring you to your future. And normally, if you do the right thing, it will bring you to something good. And if you believe in yourself, you will make it. I got really spiritual on Jay's ass. Where are you, Jay? And I truly believe in God, and I believe that He's Jesus is my Savior, and it's all about that, because we're all going to die, and we're going to end up somewhere. And if you don't have any kind of faith, then what's the whole purpose? So you got to find the purpose for yourself, and why am I here? And you know what? You're here. So something brought you here. So you may as well take and make the best of it. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Treat it like it's the last day of your life. And what would you do? And who would you want to talk to? And what would what really means something to you? And that's where it's at. It's being in the now and doing what you need to do. You guys, you all have each other, and you guys, I forget who said it. Somebody talked about, your peers are the people that are going to bring you and help you make it. And for the girls, excuse me, you guys, okay, it's the women rule the world, okay? So whatever, usually girls, and I was in a pickle because it was a guy. And usually with the girls, it's always because of the guys, and you're following the guys. But you know what? We're the stronger of the two genders. We really are. Sorry. So don't put yourself down.
No.
Don't put yourself down, and don't beat yourself up for what you did. It doesn't matter. It brought you here, and I found everything I've done in the past and everything I did, it brought me to where I am today. And I truly believe, like, my baby girl just turned 27 yesterday. She had a 2-week-old baby. Baby's 2 weeks. So, and she's a beautiful girl, and she's a great woman, and she's turned out to be a beautiful person, and I got to be accountable for that. It's because of what I did to help her and my husband, and that's what it's all about. So just remember that, as you go through this program and you start feeling bad about yourself, don't get over the shit. Quit feeling sorry for yourself, and just stand up and keep on going. So that's basically all I have to say. Yes, you beautiful lady over there in the corner.
Could you share with the female or the house what position you held?
Oh yeah, well, like I said, I came in here a crackpot, huh? I was out of my skull, and I came in, and first 2-3 months it was really difficult, and I really took to the program, and I had a really good mentor, Vicky Marino. Everybody's been talking about Vinny and Vicky, but Vicky was really a strong woman, and she made you feel, like you were going to get somewhere, and that women were just as important as men were. And again, like I said, you don't need a man to make it; you could do it on your own. But I followed her and I listened to her, even though I, struggled with a lot of things. But by the time I got into reentry, they needed a female. I was a female coordinator, and then I ended up working with Danny. I was, in the back office. Me and Danny used to sit in the back, and we worked for the longest time together. It was the best thing I ever did. So, again, that's something that you have that to look forward to. You could be anything you want to be. It's up to you. To keep on going, to stop, it's your decision, but the world is yours. So I truly enjoyed helping. As the females walked in, they needed somebody to look to, and I took time to spend with them and really talk to them and care about them. Yes?
Where are you from? Like, how old were you when you came to the program? Like, how'd you find those what was kind of like the hardest part? Did you say how old are you?
Okay, first of all, okay, I was 27, and I had been living in Hawaii for like a year. I ended up ending up, I had either 5 years of jail, prison time, or I could come here. Guy Medeiros, who was an induction at the time, I had to go to court one day, and he happened to be in the courtroom, and he saw me, and he gave me his card to Abilitat, and he was like this high, and I'm towering over him. He's like, hey, what? I'm from Abilitat, you know. So anyways, I took his card, and I said, yeah, okay, go on, So I was really high as a kite one night, and I was really down and out, and I had the card, and I called Abilitat, and he came to pick me up. He came down to Waikiki and picked me up and brought me here, and it's the best thing you ever. And yeah, she was here, and everybody's looking at me like, what the hell's wrong with her? Like, she's like, because I was out of my skull. I think I took like 10 Quaaludes, and that was in 81. That was in 1981, and I left here in 80. I worked here, went through the program for 3 years, worked here for 4 years. Then I got pregnant, because he did it. He did it to me. And then we were working, he was working in, what do you call it? Not
Fundraising,
what's
sales
it
or
called?
fundraising?
It used to be called
Induction?
Oh, it's called Enterprise. Okay,
All right.
he was working in Enterprise, and I was in the house, and the two of us working together and then living together. It was, so I just had to get away, and so I got a job somewhere else, and that was it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and then I wanted to know, like, what was really difficult about your program for you, like, what you struggled with the most?
Thinking that I wasn't the shits. I really thought, in my head, I really thought I was it. And I'd go into games, and they'd tell me, you're a piece of shit, and are you kidding me? Like, who do you think you are? And, you're a ditz, you're a liar. And I would just sit there and go, oh my God. And it just, accepting that and accepting my faults, that was the hardest thing for me. I didn't have a hard time getting off the drugs or anything like that. It was my own emotional problems I felt about myself. And I think that, again, like with, in Lila was here, and we had like all these strong women, Danelle and Joy, and it really helped to have the support of those women, and I got through it. I did, and it worked out good. Is that it? Oh, yes.
Dee Dee.
As a
Oh.
female coordinator, how did you feel your female house, like, strong, because you said you had a lot of strong women around you and stuff, like, how did you, like, what was your tactic of, like, teaching the girls and, like...
Leslie, can you answer that? Because what did you think?
A mean haircut, I'm telling you.
No, I think my tactic was, I didn't know at the time, but I think it was, I really,
Straight up, and she was on it.
I listened to people, and I had a lot of compassion, and I cared, and I think that they felt it, and that's something that, you usually just have, but you could like actually work on it and become that person. But I think that's what it was, and people, they didn't look up to me because they just looked up to me because I cared. I think that was it, and you got to just show people that you care.
You didn't think so when you gave her a haircut?
No.
No, Betsy, I'm not a people person. I'm not a people
Yeah. And I could kind of make
I'm like
things
a
eat.
shadow. I arrived here, I was a shadow,
Yeah.
still under the cover, slime ball, whatever. Many faces, I'd be anything, that's how I survived. And, she was, in the house, and, I didn't trust women, I didn't trust men, I didn't trust anybody. But Betsy was right up, she was honest, what you saw was what you got.
Yeah, right, Lila?
I think we're gonna
Yeah,
have
nobody was
Lila
perfect.
and-
But,
and Nikki
and
talk
she brings up a
little
good
bit,
point. You
and
got to
then
learn
you
to
two
trust
guys
each
should
other.
close the
You're not
thing,
competing.
right?
Nobody's threatening
you and
anybody as far as,
Danny, right?
you feel like lesser a woman.
Stevie
You
next,
got to
right?
treat and embrace everybody as they are. And women are strong friends, and you become, like I tell Lila all the time, even though she didn't know it at the time, but she turned out to be such a wonderful friend, and there's nothing like it. So, you guys okay? No offense, okay? We had to talk. Okay.
Liz, Dee Dee, or Liz.
My name was Dee Dee Williams.
And Dee Dee had a trap with my husband.
Ah, that's right, I thought so.
That was a long time ago.
OMG, WTF.
Okay, that was 1977 or something. Long time ago. My name was Dee Dee Williams when I came into the program on December 14th, 1973. Right, Kathy? Was it about then? You came in right after that. Kathy came right after me. I was contemporaries with Kathy, and Lila wasn't even here, but she was here and left and came back. You were here, but then you weren't here when I first got here. You and Vicki were on the mainland, and you came after I'd been here about 6 months, because I remember you arriving, but you'd been here before that. So anyway, 73 I came in. I came in following my drug addict boyfriend, who was sentenced by the courts here. I was a drug user too, but not like my boyfriend. My boyfriend was a heroin addict. And I did a lot of stupid stuff, and I don't want to get into that. What I wanted to answer, and I wasn't planning on talking, was someone asked, one of the men here asked, what was something or what was the most important thing you learned in Habilitat? And I can answer you that because I've thought about it a lot over the 40 years or so. I came in here at 15. I'm 55 now. No, I was 16, but just barely. I learned a lot about how to communicate with people. You guys still scream at each other in games 3 times a week? Let me tell you something. When you leave this place, you're going to know how to read people. You're going to work with people, and you're going to clue right into who that person is and what they're trying to do and how they're trying to manipulate. And you're going to understand yourself, and you're going to understand other people. And that is going to do amazing things in terms of your ability to succeed. Jobs, you're going to know how to do them. You're going to know what it means to work. But that is the thing, I think, for me, that of all the years, I know how to live with people. I know how to get along with people. I know how to make friends. I know when somebody is having a hard time at work, how to address that. And people always tell me, you're so honest. And you know what? Honesty. That is so important. And you know, most people out there in the world can't be honest.
Right on.
Most people can't handle conflict. They won't tell you when you hurt them. They won't tell you when they're mad. But you'll know it because of all those games you've been in. And you'll know how to get along and how to stay married. You see all these people that have been married for so long? It's because they know how to communicate. I was married for 20 years. I have a 15-year-old son right now. My husband died 3 years ago. I've spent the last 20 years or more on the Big Island. I'm a registered nurse. I'm an emergency room nurse. My life, that's the other thing up there. Nothing is constant but change. I haven't seen those things in years, but I'm looking at them going, act as if. You know what? You're going to have bad days. You're going to think to yourself, I've forgotten a lot of that stuff, but it's still in there. I go to
comes
work.
back.
I feel like, you know what? But I act as if it's time to get to work. I can't be a basket case. I got to do it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. You guys are going to know how to read people. You're going to know how to get along with people. You're going to know how to constructively take and give criticism so that you don't have to fight and be a basket case for the rest of your life. It'll make you strong. Thank you.
I just want to say one more thing before we kind of close this. I think the most important thing why we're all here is because of Vinny and Vicky. And I think the closest thing that we can get to them is having Lila come up, little Vicky, and Alicia come up and say a few words. And
Well, I come every so often and run female groups because I feel compelled to the females since my mother was here, and since she's gone, they're really, you know, you have some role models. You have Becky, and you have some people here, but my mother was like no other.
And she was strong, she was direct, and she was a leader. And it's funny because a lot of people say, a lot of my friends say about me, oh, it's Lila, I don't give a shit. And honestly, yes.
Who says that?
My friends.
Ah.
It's like out of the blue, like I'm hearing this from people, and what that really sums up to me is just, you know, I'm me. You know, take me for what I am. I'm confident. I believe in myself. If you don't like me, I don't give a shit. So I think
right.
a lot of that did come from my mother.
She used to say that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she said what was in her mind. She just said it.
Yeah, it was what it was. And, you know, to cut to the chase, to me, I'm just a very direct person. Sometimes a little too direct.
Where'd you get that from?
Let's be honest, Mom was a little more tactful.
Yeah, she was. She was. I'm a little bit more aggressive, but yeah. It was pretty crazy last night. We got together, and you just don't realize where the time goes. And we're all sitting there, and we're looking at pictures that Billy had and that Kenny Wilder had, and it was amazing. And what was most amazing to me is that I knew about 90% of the people in those pictures from 40 some odd years ago. And you think to yourself, how do you remember? Because really, my short-term memory is just really not that good. But for some reason, I guess because you live it, you eat it, you breathe it, you know, you're with these people day in and day out, you're crying on each other's shoulders, you're yelling at each other in games, you're working with each other, you've had the best of times and you've had the worst of times. And essentially, what does that sum up to? That sums up to your family. And truly that's what Habilitat is. And that, to me, is what I felt last night, you know, when we were all together. Because, I mean, I haven't seen Dennis Norton, I haven't seen Bob Thrapp in probably 30
years, at least
30
30
or
years.
35 years. And when he walked through that door, I said, Bob Thrapp, like, I just
Me
knew.
too. Yeah.
You know, it was like my brother from long ago.
Right.
You know, just came through the door. It was just pretty incredible to still have that connection with these people that I knew a lifetime ago. It's just pretty incredible. So what you have here, whether you realize it or not, is truly special. And you're not going to know it until many years down the road. But hold on to it because, you know, life just changes and time passes and things happen, and you really have to cherish what you have today and the people around you. So, here, Vic.
I am so not comfortable doing this.
You're good. You're good.
But Pasquale and all these graduates that are here today is really humbling and very touching to know that I always get emotional.
It's all right. It's okay. You can get emotional. It's all right.
My mother and father were two very, very, very special people. This was never a job. It was their life. And to see the legacy continue over 40 years, just making 42, is just unbelievable. I can't express to you how proud I am of them and the staff that continue to make Habilitat the special place that it is. I just want you all to know that many of you have seen clips of my father, who could be tyrannical at times.
A little bit?
You think, yeah, he was a little challenging. You either loved him or you hated him, but at the end of the day, you could do nothing but respect what he had accomplished along the way. If he loved you, he supported you 1,000%. You didn't want to cross him. That could be kind of lethal. But in his later years, he did relax a lot. He became a lot more mellow. And my mother, well, you know, behind every strong man, there's a strong woman. And she was very humble, had a strong sense of faith, and was a woman that she could make you feel this big with two little words, but yet she can make you feel like you can walk on water at the same time. She empowered women. I miss them extremely, more than I can express to you here. But for all of you that are here, just remember that hard work and dedication and making the right choices is what it's really all about. It's as simple as that, but yet it's as complex because we know it's not always that easy. We're always faced with adversity, and it's when you're faced with adversity that your true character is apparent. And so with that, I just say, make the friends that you can here. I mean, this is living proof to see what these graduates have. I mean, it's special, true friendships. You know, many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with social media, Facebook. There is a Habilitat Habsville community on Facebook that is unbelievable. People that could tell you 30 years ago, 20 years ago, talking about, good morning, family, snaps. It's morning meeting. GM in the dining room. Who's on a situation? How's your attitude? Smoking. I mean, it's just, you think that they were here with all of us now. It's truly, really remarkable. I apologize for getting emotional.
That's okay.
Pasquale, for you, I just want you to know that I love you.
I love you too.
It's just amazing to me that the heart that you have, and you were committed to coming here, and you got here, and this is so special. The fact that you wore Brute is just hilarious. That is so Vinnie Marino. You know, and the other thing, the pictures with his bell bottoms, he was not about following trends. He's
That's
like,
right.
I am a trendsetter. So he passed, he was wearing his bell bottoms. And he wore them with
And Brute.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, he did
Did he
Jacquard.
change? Oh, okay.
Jacquard. Yeah, he
Jacquard.
did change Jacquard. One final story before I leave. My father, he went to the Optimum Health Institute. He was doing everything he possibly could to fight his liver cancer. It was all natural foods. So I was in San Diego, and I went to visit him. And, you know, this Optimum Health Institute, people go there for a variety of reasons. They go there for illnesses, eating disorders, you know, heart problems, you name it, health-related, people were there. And so he took me on a tour of, you know, the kitchen facilities and his room, and he's counting the steps, you know, from his bed to the kitchen, and he goes, Vicky, if God forbid that there's a fire or there's any kind of life-threatening situation, you know who is going to be the lone survivor. It's going to be me. He was always, you know, thinking 20, 30 steps ahead. And you all will appreciate this, and I'll leave you with this. They're in essence, kind of like a rap session, and they're just, you know, talking about themselves, what they maybe don't care about what they'd like to improve upon. And so as they're sitting in this circle, each person, takes a moment and shares a little bit about themselves, being honest. How can I improve? How can I get better? And then it comes to Vinny. And he sits there and he looks at everybody and he goes, I actually love myself. I'm not really trying to change anything about me. I'm not quite sure what's going on with all of you, but I'm okay. And so with that, I say, ciao. Good night.
All right, Vic. All right.
Just so you know, we're gonna, I know you guys are
Jeff
falling
Jeff
over.
and Danny are going to close too, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, this group of people here, we're close. This is one of our close friends. And, Pat has got couple of medical issues and stuff and things he's wrestling with or whatever. And so none of us, personally would miss this. We didn't want even coming here tonight to be a group of us. We wanted this to be Pat, and we were just going to be in the wings for our friend. And so as far as I'm concerned, this whole evening, everything, and you guys as well, this is about Pat. He just happens to be a resident of this program many years ago, and his heart lies here. But all of our hearts lie with him.
But this is my support group. Before Jeff, just a couple of things. Before Jeff and Danny, I think Danny's still here.
I think Danny had to leave.
Oh, you might have left. Before Jeff closes this thing. But what I wanted to say, to echo what Jay just said, is yes, my friends are here. I came here because I wanted to be here to share with you guys. But I didn't want to do it alone. So my friends, people that I grew up with, came here to support me. Just like you guys will form the same group of people to support you. I've known all these people all my life. Lila's like my little sister. I knew her when she was 12 years old. Huh? So, that's what keeps you going. That's what, and you don't have to see each other every day, every year. Phone call, a text, whatever it is. That helps you. This is real. This is not a production. We didn't plan this. We didn't communicate to each other about it, what we're going to say tonight. None of this. It's from the heart for you guys. Hopefully we'll help someone, one of you, two of you, three of you. That's what Vinny and Vicky used to tell all of us. Hopefully we help a couple of you. Every time he talked, or every time Vicky talked, I hope some one of you gets something from what I'm saying. All I'm doing is transporting to you what I was taught from Vinny and Vicky. Jeff is doing the same thing. He had the ability to hear what they had to say. He's passing it along to you. He learned from the best. Danny grew up just like I did. So you guys are getting it exactly the way we got it. No different. None. So I thank each and every one of you. All right.
Real quick, I'd like to just say one thing. I want you to think for just a minute. Clear your mind for just a minute and think about this. Why in the world would all these people come back 40 years later, 30 years later, and come here? Why would it be important for them to come here and talk to you? Think about that for a minute. Isn't that kind of interesting? 40 years, 30 years. And it was important for them to come here and talk to you. See, from where I stand, these are the people that paved the way for me to get the help that I needed. And the people that are here running Habilitat today are the people that are paving the way for you to get the help that you need. So I am very grateful that all you guys showed up this evening. And those of you that I haven't met, I'm very grateful to meet you. I've heard of all your names before through the years. And we do want to thank you for coming. And Pat, especially thank you. You certainly helped change my life. But just think about that for a minute. 30, 40 years, they come back, it's important for them to talk to you. That's pretty special if you ask me.